Many relationships in our society are built on the concept of submission. Even when individuals are on equal footing, they tend to adhere to norms and rules that are acceptable to their partners, expecting the same in return. But why do people feel compelled to fulfill requests and follow these norms? What kinds of power dynamics exist, and how does an imbalance of power affect individuals? Let's delve into these questions in our psychology video. Subscribe to our channel and share it with your friends if you're interested. In psychology, the concept of submission is not universally defined. Some authors equate it with obedience, often tying it to specific personality traits. From this perspective, researchers identify various forms of submission, such as compliance, external and internal conformity, suggestibility, and the assimilation of social norms and ideals. However, this approach fails to recognize submission as a distinct type of relationship involving rules and norms used for self-discipline and self-regulation. Submission plays a significant role in every person's life, starting from childhood. Clear and reasonable rules provide stability for a child's psyche, offering a sense of security. Conversely, complete freedom, especially in critical situations, can cause severe stress for a child who has yet to develop their own viewpoints and decision-making abilities. As individuals grow, they assume multiple social roles, each with its own set of unwritten behavioral norms. For instance, the role of a student implies listening to the teacher, following a schedule, and completing assignments, all of which contribute to academic success and bolster self-esteem. Throughout life, people accumulate various social roles, such as friend, team member, romantic partner, employee, or candidate for a new position. Success in these roles often hinges on how well one adheres to the associated norms. Stanley Milgram's experiments demonstrate that individuals are often willing to perform actions that contradict their personal values when following the rules associated with their social roles. This highlights the profound influence of social norms and roles on human behavior. Certain social roles entail not submission, but rather the management of others. Interestingly, individuals can have polar opposite reactions to these roles. Some vehemently dislike assuming leadership roles, often due to a fear of responsibility and managing conflicts. On the other hand, some are not daunted by power and are even drawn to it, occasionally leading to a critical and obsessive pursuit of power. Let's explore why this occurs. Psychoanalyst Horney distinguished between normative and neurotic pursuits of power in her works. Normative pursuit is typically driven by noble motives, such as improving work processes, effecting qualitative changes, and undertaking ambitious tasks. Conversely, the neurotic pursuit often stems from attempts to compensate for feelings of inferiority caused by physical imperfections, self-loathing, anxiety, or illnesses. Alfred Adler posited that while some individuals seek to compensate for feelings of inferiority through sexuality, others pursue power as a means to reinforce their self-worth. The sense of a cohesive personality develops during adolescence, a period marked by the complex process of separating from and affirming emotional independence from parents. When this process is disrupted and adolescent rebellion is stifled by authoritarian parenting, feelings of inner inferiority can arise. Later in life, these suppressed feelings of rebellion and the drive for self-affirmation can manifest in unpredictable and sometimes pathological forms of obsessive domination over others. Erich Fromm's theory of power suggests that a deep-seated fear of loneliness can underlie the neurotic pursuit of power. Fromm believed that this fear drives individuals to seek leadership roles and become orators, with the desire to possess others' attention masking a sadistic motive. Such individuals view others as tools to serve their interests and exert control, which is a potent form of manipulation in human communication. Manipulation is pervasive in human interaction, ranging from casual conversations to the values imposed by the media. In everyday language, the terms power, influence, and authority are often used interchangeably, but social and organizational psychology distinguishes between them. Power refers to the resources that enable individuals to influence others' behavior, often involving the ability to compel or induce others to think or act in specific ways. Influence, on the other hand, is the relational aspect that allows one person to some extent, persuade another to change their behavior according to the influencer's desires. Effective influence over others' behavior often requires operating from a position of power. Authority in this context refers to the right to use power to control the behavior of individuals or groups. But what exactly constitutes power? There are three main types identified. 1. Resource power. This type of power stems from one person possessing more of the resources needed by another, such as money, equipment, or other material valuables. The possession of these resources significantly enhances one's influence. 2. Position power. Also known as formal authority, this type of power comes from holding a position that grants formal permission to manage others. It also encompasses the rules of interaction prescribed by social roles, and often the authority of the position extends beyond formal relationships. 3. Personal power. Individuals who possess personal qualities that others admire and wish to emulate wield this type of power. Those who recognize these outstanding qualities are compelled to act in accordance with the attitudes and views of the person possessing personal power. 4. Expert power. This type of power is derived from being perceived as a renowned specialist in a particular field. A person with expert power finds it easier to become a successful leader. While these types of power are theoretically distinct in practical managerial settings, power is rarely based on a single source. Instead, it typically stems from a combination of these sources, with varying degrees of influence. The notion that power corrupts is a familiar concept, supported by research on its effects on personal psychology. Individuals in positions of power often exhibit behaviors that reflect this phenomenon. Firstly, they may disregard common norms, as demonstrated in an experiment by Adam Galinsky, where powerful participants were more likely to turn off a bothersome fan compared to ordinary participants. Additionally, individuals with power may find it easier to violate internal prohibitions, such as cheating, when it serves their self-interest. Secondly, power can amplify egocentrism, leading individuals to prioritize their own needs over those of others. For example, research shows that individuals earning less than $25,000 a year donate a higher percentage of their income to charity compared to those earning over $150,000. A study conducted at Columbia University further illustrates this point. Participants were assigned roles of subordinate and boss in a series of trials. Before the game, they were asked to assemble a set of candies and choose whether to keep them for themselves or give them to another participant. The results showed that bosses were more likely to keep the candies for themselves, while subordinates were more inclined to give them to others. It's important to note that while power can lead to these behaviors, not all individuals in positions of power exhibit corrupt tendencies. The manifestation of these effects depends on an individual's personal qualities, level of empathy, and ability to consider long-term consequences.